So I was playing with my old band Dual Troop, which was kind of like a folky Beatles thing, and we were just playing like an open mic thing, or they were filling in for Horse Girl.
Yeah, there was this like Old Town School did this like best of open mic thing because they have a teenage open mic program that runs throughout the year, but then there's like a band section and they had at their Square Roots Festival like a best of thing where they had, I guess, the best bands of that year play at the Square Roots thing. So that was Dual Troop and that was Horse Girl. But me and Isaac were filling in for some people in Horse Girl who were like out of town.
Yeah, and we saw Dual Troop first. Like we saw them play their like 3 songs or whatever their show was, and like we were all kind of like just blown away. I don't know, because there were these other kids that looked super young. I mean, how old was I? That was like the summer after my 6th grade, which is crazy.
13?
No, fucking younger. We saw Dual Troop and they were like these other like tiny little kids playing like freakishly like mature music or something. Like it was just like I hadn't heard something that was like that realized in a while coming from kids that were like my age. Like I don't know, it was just kind of love at first sight in like a band way. Like I just remember seeing that and being like that's we gotta meet those guys. And that I guess was what was exciting, is it was like I don't know who these kids are, but they're up to something interesting, so we gotta go figure out who this is. We like had to hunt them down after their show.
Well, we just like randomly found them when we were like waiting for deep fried, I don't know.
Like deep fried Twinkie.
Yeah, like in the disgusting food lines at the festival, and they were just there, and we were like, oh, we need to talk to you.
We gotta get this guy's number.
We have to get this guy's number.
But then then we just started playing together and it kind of clicked very well.
Our first show was at my house. It was like a block party.
Yeah. We were all in musical situations before then, where it was kind of like there was a soul songwriter type thing, which can be great. But I think, at least for me, it felt like this was a band that everyone would just like collaborate, and it wasn't like, because we weren't going in as like Asher was like, hey, I have all these songs, let's make a band. It was like, I think like we connect.
It's like, yeah, I like how you play music, so
yeah,
we probably
I like your
do
ethos.
that together. Yeah, we aren't the most similar in our music taste. Like,
still, yeah.
We have a lot of overlap, and we can like appreciate what each other likes. But I think that the thing that's very cool about us as a band is just that like we're very different in our music taste and very different in our tastes in general, I think. And it's like it's cool to see it together in a way that's like, maybe it's not so interesting to just see a band of like all the same person.
Part of what like makes us original, or at least like try to be original, is that we aren't all like, okay, let's do this type of song. Like it's coming from all over the place when we're writing music, just because like none of us are exactly into the same thing.
Well, I think we're all growing as songwriters in our individual just growths as musicians. So we will bring in things, but we're never making like a whole finished demo.
It's never like we make the whole arrangement and like play each other's parts. It's always like if someone brings a part in, everybody just makes a part to that.
Yeah, we try not to write with intention. I think a lot of the time that's how it works. Is you kind of just, I think a lot of the time it's like we just improvise and like convince ourselves that the song is really good, and then it becomes good.
That's really worked, is like
just play some bullshit and like pretend that you're like on stage at like the biggest venue you can think of, and that it's the best song you've ever written. And then maybe it'll be the best song you've ever written.
We were having some struggles with some song, I forget which one it was. And Kai's like, you know what, I think it's the energy, let's all play this like this was our hit single and we're doing the tour, you know, and it's like,
yeah.
And it really works, because then sometimes you kind of have to fake it till you make it, and you're like, wait, this wouldn't be the hit single because it sounds like that. Like, just like everything is really clear suddenly once you're like thinking about it in the context.
We aren't in a place where we're touring endlessly and like burning ourselves out, which I think is good. I think it's sad when bands do that. If they can't handle it, then it's like, okay. But I also think that because we're in school, especially because we're in high school, it's like this band can be very fun almost all of the time.
I don't know, I feel like a lot of young bands kind of end up doing this thing where they get a lot of attention for whatever reason, and it's like they kind of make this decision to go and just tour as much as possible, really kind of grow the band as quickly and as kind of intensely as they can, and then physically they end up completely wearing themselves out, and it's fun, but keeping it kind of easing into the whole thing, I think, is kind of our key to trying to handle it all.
School also serves the purpose of being something to kind of come back to and like a schedule to be on, which is, I know, very good for me personally. And like, I'm excited for like going to college, which is like a little bit less intense as high school. It's like less of a schedule, but I don't know, it's still nice to like ground yourself in something, especially in Chicago, and then be able to like, you know, have your time to go and do your tours, and it's like, it feels better to kind of have both of those things, I think.
I traveled a lot as a kid, and I kind of moved around a lot, so like I never really get homesick, but I feel like you guys get homesick more, and that allows you. No. As like,
Sorry.
as in like when you guys get homesick, you're like, man, I need to take a walk or something, or I need to like ease my brain, and it's something I wouldn't have thought of naturally, because I'm very like travel mode. I'm like, let's keep on going most of the time. But then it's like, maybe I'll take a walk with you guys, because you know, maybe you're feeling homesick, and I'm like, oh, I should do this. Like just taking a walk, eating like a breakfast that has maybe like a piece of lettuce in it or something. Or
Eating
just
breakfast.
little things, self-care.
Yeah,
Right?
So true.
It's 2024. It's not like a natural thing really to tour for like a long period of time. So just like ways of like having a nice meditative routine, little thing.
I brought like DVDs on tour.
Right, exactly.
We
And-
watched Star Wars.
Yeah.
On a little mini DVD player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know, even just having, like, I was playing Zelda throughout all of tour, and it felt like there was something a little bit stable to just keep kind of working through.
Except
over.
that one boss fight.
That one fucking boss fight. I
It
was in
drove
the
him
tour
crazy.
and, like, screaming in the
I
car.
was so mad.
Honestly, everyone was, like, upset at me.
Yeah, like playing Mario Kart in your hotel room.
Right, exactly.
Really
It's
fun,
like,
actually.
Yeah.
you just kind of developing some of these kind of stable things that you like do every night, or you know, you're getting through a book or whatever. It's like it can kind of take that strange like Groundhog's Day when you show up and every show's a blur. So trying to fill your days with things that aren't just driving and then moving gear has really helped me.
And as for the venues, you can tell when people older than you respect you and when they don't. Or like
Asshole
Valley.
sound guys is maybe the single worst part of the vibe. If you load in and someone's already passive aggressive,
Yeah.
it's like I can't deal with this.
Yeah.
So
Everyone hates you. They're like, what are these kids doing?
right.
Yeah.
Why they have X's? They don't belong here.
Yeah.
It's on the hands.
Then you earn respect,
Right, or whatever.
like Tony Soprano.
Right, yeah.
Kick the door in.
Get some honor on your name.
Honor.
Right.
That's the word.
Yeah.
Yes.
Men these days don't have any.
Get honor. That's 2024. That's what's in
Right.
2024.
Yeah, I think if we were like, I don't know, like ripped,
Really
like
buff.
old dudes, right? Yeah, like
Ripped old dudes.
With like black
no,
beard.
not old,
Never seen
not old. Like yeah, like 80+ years bodybuilders is kind of I think the. Just joking.
Just turn up. He's not gonna come.
What the
if he
fuck is
comes up
gain
there-
staging? I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that like with our record covers, it's a very good combination of all of our strengths, I think. And they're all very collaborative. Like there's not just like one person that makes the covers or whatever.
But we do all of them ourselves.
Yeah.
Mostly analog, like cutting pick, like collaging.
And
drawing.
with like posters and shirts and like all the stuff.
Yeah.
I think with the last thing we kind of really leaned into like the visual language thing that you talked about, where like we kind of had like these two symbols of like the.
Yeah, I think like iconography and like the whole mod, or like kind of the use of symbols and they're like very simple kind of icons. I think it's a very big influence on us. The visual aspect is very important for us. Clothing, everything. I have a zine called Hallogallo that I've been doing for like 3 years, and I think that's just like an effective way if you want to like create more of an identity and be more visible within a community. I think like making a zine and like being very open about like we're all friends and like we're not fisticuffs with any of these other bands or whatever. It's like we're all friends. I think that just kind of helped, materialize it, and that's how it started. So that zine is kind of about Chicago scene, and it's like a fanzine, so it talks to a lot of other bands. But I always try when I'm interviewing other bands like Stereolab, Noi, like bands like that, some pretty bigger names. Try to connect it to youth culture and like how it can connect to young people that want to start doing stuff. And then the visual side is like it's very similar to the Lifeguard ethos. It's all analog, different printing methods, use of ink and copying, and stuff like that.
I think also with Hallogallo, visually, it's like as a band, we don't actually have that many opportunities to like be making posters. You make like a couple posters and a couple album covers every year or whatever. So kind of being able to have this like consistent kind of aesthetic thing, I think has definitely helped kind of like solidify some kind of visual to identify with, with the band and kind of the rest of the scene, which I think is important.
We're playing with Black Eyes at the Empty Bottle, and we're really excited about it.
Big inspiration as a band.
On March 8th.
March 8th. And there's another, is it the 9th?
It's the 9th.
It's
two days.
Mark your calendars, March 8th and 9th.